Hello world, this is Mike, Backwoods Machining once again. Well, this monstrosity that you see before you, some parts you've probably seen before, some you haven't. Um, my work has delegated to me for my shop some parts that I need to build. Now, to make these parts, they're made out of brass. I talked a little bit about it in my last skit. But now I basically have the go ahead to do it. And if I can do it, and I can do it profitably and better than the guy that's doing it now, I will gain these parts. Now, these parts, I mean, we're talking about uh, give or take about 10,000 every 3 months ish. 10,000 parts. 4 parts, 2,500 ish of each. So, with that said, what I'm tasked to do now is design a multi-axis machine that is going to be able to make these parts quickly and efficiently and mostly automated. Now, with that said, I'm going to have to not only be able to turn a diameter, make a thread, I'm also going to have to drill a hole. So I'm going to have a multi-axis machine here that is going to have a tool turret and a drill of some kind of a spindle, sub-spindle, whatever, to do that. Anyway, that's the start of this. This is probably going to be quite a long road I'm going down, and I'm not anticipating getting this done quickly. But I figured it might be interesting for you guys if you want to watch. I'll get video, here and there when I can, and I'll show you what's going on. Right now, I'm trying to use some of my old stuff that I was working on, and at the moment, I machined this out. Basically, this is just going to be the motor mount for this. I just got to machine the spacer now, and then I can bolt the stepper to this. This will probably be the X-axis. Anyway, see you guys in a bit. All right, round 2, second bar. Alright, I cut these at 25 inches. This is going to be the start of the frame for this. I'm going to try to do this like a regular CNC lathe, a multi-axis lathe. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the spindle regularly like here, but I'm going to have the tools at an angle up here so the parts and the chips can fall down. That way, hopefully nothing gets tangled up and this can run, semi unobstructed, or yeah, you know what I mean. I didn't make it as far as I wanted to, but in any case, this is where I'm at now. Hopefully you can start to see where I'm going with this. This will be up here. You know, this will be the X. This will be the Z. And on this frame, I will also have more rails where I could bring over a drill to do the center holes. This will also have a multi-turret tool holder. I have an idea about it, so I'll show you guys in a minute, see what you think. But just about done for the weekend with this thing. The more I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at this back part, is the more complicated it's getting for me. So I really think I might just stick with the basics and leave it like a normal lathe. And if I want to make a cabinet that I can put it in and tip it sideways, the whole thing, so be it. But for right now, I don't know. I might take, these are only tack welded on here. I might take these off. I just don't know if this is going to work like I'm hoping. The next step, I'm going to cut this plate widthwise. So it's just the same width as this, which will allow me to put this the rest of the way on here. And then I'll start working on the y-axis or x-axis. And then the motor mounts. I'm still not sure yet how I'm going to hook up a drilling motor or a drilling system. But, you know, one thing at a time. I am going to use this for the motor to turn this. So what I'm going to do, either I'm going to make a pulley system. What I'm planning on doing is I'm going to run a drive belt to a spindle here, and then this motor will drive the spindle on this side, so I can gear it down a little bit. There's not much room here, so it's not like I have a lot of options. So I'm gonna put a middle spindle assembly, just so I can do some gearing, because that motor is an 8,000 RPM motor, and I want to at least cut that down by a quarter. It's 2.9 horsepower, so I'm figuring if I cut it down to 2,000 RPM, that'll beef up the torque, and that should be more than enough speed to run this, speed and power. This is what I was considering modifying for the tool turret for this lathe. And what I was going to do is this is a 4-inch diameter plate. What I was going to do is I was going to make a 6-inch diameter and then put the notches in it for the tooling. I'm not sure which way I'm going to go yet. If I am going to do a turret on this, or if I'm just going to line up several tools on the plate and then program it to use the tools on the plate. I haven't really decided yet. One of the last things I'm going to do is with this bar here, I'm going to go around the entire machine and I'm going to make a cabinet that this is going to sit in, so I don't have to worry about chips or, you know, parts or anything. I'm going to completely enclose this one. That way I don't have to worry about any shrapnel or my little furry friends, you know. Right now I've got to keep the cats out of here because of all these metal chips, and hopefully with this machine, I can put it in the basement next door and not have to worry about it. Alright guys, I'm going to call it for this weekend. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you guys. I got this in the mail finally. This is my Brown & Sharpe number 11 for my big horizontal mill. I got, this one is a 3/4 inch, 0.75. And what I did was I bought one of these. This is an ER25 with a 20 millimeter shank, shaft, whatever. I'm going to turn this down to fit in here. That way I have a ER25 collet now with all the sizes for my horizontal mill. I chucked this up in the lathe, and I gotta tell you, I'm not too confident in how it was running, but I'm gonna assume it's right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the 4-jaw on, and I'm gonna indicate it. That way I know this thing is 100% factory, dead nuts, running true before I touch it. That way, because 20 millimeters, this works out to be something like 0.78, something like that, and I got to go to 0.75. So I don't have a lot to go, but I really want to make sure I don't screw this thing up and make it run out. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's from China. I'm not expecting a miracle here, but obviously I don't want to make it any worse. So this is something else I've got to do. Figured I'd throw it in there.